You know me, if you give me a gift, you will see it.
Yes.
You that gave me, you will see it.
You know, say yes.
Who don't you see?
One of our London
who doesn't wear their gifts?
Some people
don't mind.
But when I have,
don't
when
we
I
all wear
get
gifts?
No matter what.
We all wear our
gifts.
Okay,
Don't
me, I
mind
don't know. Sorry if you offended you.
We are wearing gifts anyway.
You know me, like
you're the only person.
Oh, okay. Since we all do the same things.
How are you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. I'm a bit overworked, tired, because there's traffic. The construction on Badagry Expressway, there've been so many blocks that they have had to do. There's traffic management through to God, but it's so tough. Getting home and getting out of the house is tough for me. I'd love that there's also proper management on the Oroshoki end. Somebody is, they're compelling those Danfo buses to move, because now we have only one lane and you can't park on 2 of those lanes and think it's okay for those coming behind. We spend hours unnecessarily there. The roads are under construction and it must affect everybody. That's the most important thing. They are not exempted from the block on the road, so you can't park there. At least if you must pick up somebody, pick one person and move and don't stay. I wish that, there'll be more traffic management.
How you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing good. Yes, I had a short meeting yesterday at Loma, trying to see what we can do going forward. Loma Academy, it was a fantastic meeting.
Loma Academy?
Yes. So Loma have this school that where they teach children about the environment, about recycling, about environmental sustainability, just so in keeping with, what I do. They looked at our book. They think it's a fantastic addition to, the books that they introduce to children, that when they talk to them about the environment. And as I always say, the vultures are the Loma of the environment. So it was just, fantastic
marriage.
Yes.
So you guys have a marriage.
So very soon.
You guys have some kind of synergy.
Yeah. So very soon you'll be seeing some things that we'll be doing together.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Good, great. I'm just fine. I'm just fine.
Your dress is very nice, actually.
Thank you. I didn't like the net thingy. I think it's a bit too.
It's not
necessary. I didn't need it.
It makes it different. It gives you that.
It was not necessary. The puff was perfect.
No, it's necessary. It gives it that. She
doesn't appreciate creativity.
Anyways,
let me go. Like you don't. Save your energy. Yes, let's just save our energy for the next.
Let's start a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Before we go ahead, Mikey had something to say?
Yes, so please, Nima has rights. Nima has rights here.
Maskis, pick your case now. Why can't pick your case?
Let us review the papers.
Nima has rights.
Let's start with the nation. Let's start with the nation. This guy's Tuesday. Let's be serious. Akeredolu not going back on plan to arm Amotekun Corps. Don't plunge Nigeria into crisis, can Sultan warn religious leaders. Federal government reverses order urging VCs to reopen varsities. 500,000 Nigerians await repatriation from Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. Tinubu Shetima joint ticket best for women. Atiku bypasses Wike allies, names Saraki Oyinlola as advisors. And bandits kill 3, kidnap 22 in Kaduna communities. Okay.
Yeah, so I will talk about the wife of the APC presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, at the at Shiwaju Women Cooperative Society dialogue yesterday. She was represented by Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Diaspora, Mrs. Tolulokwe Akondishadipe, and she was just saying that the senator sentiment was that the candidacy of her husband and his running mate Shatima is very important for women representation. She says that both of them really stand for women empowerment. She gave examples of her husband as governor and all the things that he's done for women. She said he's mentored scores of women, provided economic empowerment for women, brought about the mainstreaming of women, not only in economics but in the political sphere. She says that he's not only a political, team player, but also at home. You can see that for her as the wife and a three-time senator, at the National Assembly, it shows his commitment to empowering women, and so does Shatima. Shatima too has a track record of wanting to make sure that there's proper representation of women, and she just says women are very important in politics generally. They're there from the very beginning, the voting and everything, and these two people are very aware of our power and are willing to make sure that we're incorporated in the whole process.
Governor Akeredolu of Ondo State has reiterated that Amotekun must carry weapons. He was saying this during the personal parade yesterday in Ondo. He says that the weapons, which will be backed by law, so he's not going against the law, will be backed by law, will be used to fight those who are termed as marauders, committing crimes against humanity, especially within the region of his state. He said that the establishment of the security outfits by the subnationals was necessary and indispensable. And he said that the Amotekun Corps must be given the tools to carry out their pivotal, indispensable duties. He questioned the fact that the Katsina state government were displaying the AK-47 to their security outfits, and it's important that he also is able to. But I'm just wondering that why is he speaking alone? There should be other governors echoing this and supporting this, because it's not Amotekun is not just for Ondo State, it's the entire Southwest. So other governors within that region should also support what he's saying.
Other governors have spoken up in support of him, but I won't say he's doing well for being so consistent on what he believes. And,
and okay, I guess because
I still cannot understand why you would allow the Katsina state government
security
display their own AK-47. You're not allowing these ones. It's
two systems, one country. Okay, another story in the nation.
Federal Commissioner at the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Miss Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, was speaking to the NAN, that's the Nigerian News Agency of Nigeria, at the UN General Assembly 77 session happening in the US recently, and she was talking about how we have 500,000 awaiting displaced persons in Chad, Cameroon, and they are awaiting repatriation to Nigeria. She said they're in this Niger, Chad, and Cameroon, these three countries, and that they've been bringing them back in batches. There's 1,000 people that are awaiting repatriation presently, and that all of that will be done in accordance with the Presidential Committee on Repatriation in the Northeast, and they'll be done before the end of the tenure of Mr. President. So I'm wondering how many days remain, but I wonder how they will successfully do repatriation of that 500,000 persons. I also wonder where the data is and what they are relying on. So I read the story, Sharp. That's what she was speaking of on at the...
Okay, moving on to the Punch. 24 hours to campaign. INEC can Sultan wants party supporters against violence. Picture here again of Governor Akeredolu. Amotekun insists on arms. I mean, I like the way he is in his ensemble. Very nice. Sikh sexagenarian disowns family, dies in Lagos apartment. Ogun communities lament 100-year darkness. Electricity projects rot. ICPC sets up committee to manage forfeited assets. Atiku names Saraki, eyeing other special advisors. Groups demand sanction as power collapses within 7th time. And the federal government reverses varsity's reopening order. ASU adamant. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me start with the Sikh sexagenarian. Her name was Rose Akman. She apparently, according to her neighbors, she disowned her family and then she fell ill. and she had arthritis, and then she got a stroke. She couldn't walk, so they took it in turns to take care of her, change her diapers, and then she would. Then a week before she died, they took her to the hospital, and the Bagada General Hospital said that they didn't have space, so they now took her to a private hospital. Those was asked for her family. They said they didn't know her family members, so they said they couldn't admit her. They took her home. Then the person that was her turn to clean her that day went there, and she was dead. That one ran to the police station, so that you will not say. And the police came. They took her. They've taken her corpse to the morgue, but her family have now come.
Okay.
And they said, "Where were you all this time?" You know, her husband left her 10 years ago. Very, very sad story. Very sad story, especially for these parts. But I love the way the neighbors rallied around her.
Yeah.
Support her. Really sad.
Yes. The national grid collapsed again yesterday.
Yes, so
did it
all of us
affect you?
were affected. Yes,
Yeah,
it affected me.
anyway, everybody is screaming and shouting. So they said this is the 7th time that it has happened in 2022 alone. So according to the report, it's saying that power consumer groups have called for sanctions against the operators and firms culpable for the incessant grid collapse that has characterized the Nigeria's electricity system since this year. They said that on Monday, the power generation on the grid had risen to a peak of 4,180 megawatts, and then on Sunday it dropped to a little above 3,713 at 6 a.m. before crashing to about 80 megawatts yesterday. So various power distribution companies, confirmed this. They, at the time, they reached out to their consumers, their clients, saying that this had been caused by the national grid collapse. But at the time that they reached out, they hadn't heard, specifically also that what has happened and how long this will take and what the situation is.
This is what the Minister for Power had to say about that. He said that, the system, the grid has never collapsed. He said that what happened were system disturbances. He says that it is mischievous and misleading for anyone to say Nigeria has experienced grid collapses 5 times this year. That, what we have experienced are pockets of national grid system disturbances, and in all, each lasted for just about 30 minutes, and the grid was restored to normalcy instantly, his words. But for what we are experiencing in the past 2 weeks, I'm not finding it funny. I am under a disco. I used to be proud, but now it's difficult to get.
Eco. We have to go on a break.
It's difficult to get 6 hours of power.
This is what they say. You say tomato and I say tomato.
I'm telling you. Let's go on a break. When we come back to continue with the reviews, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas. It shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy East Flash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing The Punch. So, Nima had a story?
Yes,
Punch?
I have the 500, the several communities.
That was a nation.
The several communities in Ogun State who say they've been in darkness for 100 years, that they've never had power. And the communities are listed. There's so many. Alagbada, Fayoyi, Ajegunle, Iripa 1, Iripa 2, Abule, Babanla, Sunwa, Ajegunle. There's so many. All these communities in Yewa North local government area said that they've never had power in 100 years, and there's a World Bank electrification project in their area that has been abandoned, and this would have, sort of assisted them to getting power. That's the basis of the story. Simple and short.
100 years.
And you forgot to say they brought the thing in 2007, saying that they wanted to
World Bank project.
So everyone was excited, and then they didn't. Since that 2007 till now, they are still in darkness.
Okay, so major stakeholders, INEC, CAN, Sultan, and many others have warned party supporters to avoid violence during the coming elections. By tomorrow, officially, the game starts. So what's 2023? And then INEC is saying, let me read specifically from Yakubu, the chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakub, said that abusive and slanderous words could provoke violence during the campaigns, and we must avoid that. He added that abusive, intemperate, slanderous, or base language or innuendos designed or likely to provoke violence, reactions, or emotions shall not be employed during the elections and would not be allowed. He further reiterated his position during the sensitization to ensure that they're going to have a free and fair election. That we should just know that we have a free and fair election. But ensure that we should reduce violence, not even have violence at all. I think this is also reiterated by Governor Sanwo-Olu during the NIREC meeting. That was the Nigerian Inter-Religious Council. They had a meeting in Lagos yesterday where they had to come to sit down together and say, listen, we are religious leaders. We're not going to allow all these negativity. I'm paraphrasing right now. That people are using the religion to divide. So I think it's clear that we must all uphold a sanity during this period of elections, and let us avoid slanderous words against each other. Okay, let's move on quickly now to Daily Sun. 2023 APC presidential campaign crisis widens. ASU FG makes U-turn on resumption order. Blackout as national grid collapses again. Bandits threaten to kill newborn mother sisters if 50 million naira ransom is not paid within 48 hours. 2023 again, Obi gets Pan-Yoruba Group's endorsement. 2023 polls INEC to deploy cumbersome measures to determine winners, call for issue-based campaigns. Nnamdi Kanu's release crucial to peace in Southeast, says APC chief. An article storms Enugu as Southeast receives Okowa as Igbo son today. Right, which story are we starting with?
I have this really sad, heartbreaking story. So it's about 3 sisters that were kidnapped in July 17th this year. They said they were kidnapped in Mando, that's the outskirts of Kaduna. They had gone to their mother and they were taking care of their sick mom. And bandits came and took them away, 3 of them. One of them was heavily pregnant at the time she was kidnapped. The brother said that since then they've been in talks with the kidnappers, who at first had asked for, they asked for 100 million at first, and they said that they were not able to raise that. They're poor people. This is not an amount of money that they can raise. Anyway, they've reduced the amount all the way down to 50 million. They said they have sold everything that they own, and all that they can give, and all they have gathered is 6.5 million. They spoke to the bandits, and the bandits say that they should not call them again, and that if they do not give them 50 million by the end of tomorrow, they would kill the sisters and the newborn child. The newborn was born in captivity. They said no medicine, no any health intervention since, and that they've just been left to the elements. He said he was on the phone with his sisters. They were all crying because he said this is all they have been able to raise, and asking governments to
they said they're asking governments, well-meaning Nigerians, churches, everybody, because the first money they asked for was 140 million. Then 100. Now they've reduced it to 50. They said their leader is about to leave the camp, so they need the money before the leader leaves the camp. It's very
so sad. That's why when you catch these guys, you just kill them. Don't do this trial and going for trial. Just shut them dead.
I met a lady who lives in Kaduna, and she's lived in Kaduna all her life. She's Yoruba, but she lives in Kaduna now. She's a fan of the show, and she says how dangerous Kaduna is now.
Southern Kaduna.
Just Kaduna.
And they knock on your doors. They really especially for the Christians.
Did you read the part where
really sad
Kidnap kingpin arrested that when he was paraded, when he said he didn't know his gang were involved in kidnapping? He said he didn't know that they were involved in kidnapping.
Right. Okay, so the former vice president of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is also the presidential candidate for the PDP, will be at the Southeast in Enugu today. He'll be visiting. They're going to have a consultation and sensitization ahead of the elections the campaign that's starting tomorrow. And he will be officially presenting Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, his running mate, to the Southeast PDP chapter. So according to them, they'll be welcoming him as their son officially. It says that he's coming home to facilitate with his own kinsmen. Sources reveal the article deliberately scheduled the stakeholders meeting obviously because the campaigns will start, and the idea is really to gather the Southeasterners under the PDP party to accept Okowa as one of their own before this campaign starts officially tomorrow. Any other story nobody took? Okay, let's move on now to Vanguard. Let's find a story we've not taken. 2023 presidency, Yoruba elders split over Obi and Tinubu. 2023, guard your utterances. FG Sultan Khan, someone who tells Nigerians. Strike. FG makes U-turn on Obi opening of varsities. pipeline surveillance contract. All stakeholders should work together for Niger Delta, says Edwin Clark. Tinubu begins campaigns with prayers, peace talks in Abuja tomorrow. 2023, INEC, NBC, others reroute Act warned against anti-peace activities. Ex-servicemen storm Defense Ministry, protest on paid benefits. 2023, consider mental fitness of candidates. And bandits kill 3, kidnap 22, snatch bikes in Beningaweri in council. Okay, which story are we doing?
So, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Abubakar, who is also the leader of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, was at the third quarter meeting of the Nigeria Interreligious Council that I held in Victoria Island yesterday. Also in attendance was the governor of Lagos, the SGF, the Secretary to the Federal Government was represented, and the president of CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria, Daniel Oko, also was present. And they were talking about, how volatile this season that we're going into now, pre-election or election campaign season will be. And they're asking Nigerians to not only be careful about, how they comport themselves, but guard, their utterances from incisive and, all sorts of comments at this time. I totally agree with everybody because the Sultan was saying the same thing. The current president was agreeing with him. All other parties that were in attendance were taking and agreeing with him in different ways. But, they were all saying the same thing, and I agree with them. At this time, this is when we should be more careful about any of such utterances and guard what we're saying.
Yeah. So yesterday, the retired military personnel stormed the Ministry of Defense, protesting non-payment of their security debarment allowance, which they call SDA, and they threatened not to leave the place until government addresses their plight. So these ex-soldiers, under the aegis of retired members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, REMENAF, that's REMENAF, and the Coalition of Concerned Military Veterans, CCV, they said that they had in January, protested and picketed the Ministries of Finance, Defense, and the National Assembly so that, the allowances could be paid, and that the President heard them and he approved the payment of the debarment allowances. But they said up till today, the Ministry of Defense hasn't done anything. They're also alleging that the Minister of Defense is the one holding on to these monies, that he doesn't seem to have any empathy for their plight, and so they had come with their mats and they were willing, even in the rain, to sleep over until they have been addressed.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we take a part 2 of the our hot topic yesterday, which is about the Kidnap kingpin, the updates on that. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered?
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it. Thanks for staying with us in continuation of yesterday's topic on the alleged kidnap kingpin, Leon Ewa. We have the Commissioner of Police in Bayelsa State, Mr. Ben Okolo, to speak extensively on what the public needs to know concerning this particular kidnap kingpin and the case going forward. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Morning, sir. So, as you know, social media, when we had so much information on this person, but it'd be great to have it from a credible source such as you. So, could you kindly give us an update on this Leon Ewa that was arrested recently over the weekend? What's the case and exactly how are you going to charge him to court? What are the next steps?
End of last year, one Habib was kidnapped. Himself was a bank manager of one of the new generation banks. He was released after they collected ransom of 80 million naira. In June this year, another banker, Omeje, was now equally a manager of the new generation bank. He was released after they collected 60 million naira. Collected 30 million naira cash and $30 million worth of dollars. We continued to follow up and narrow on the indicates that committed this crime. So first, we arrested one, Emmanuel Charles Angase. It was the arrest of Charles Angase, Innocent Kesley, and Timi Werekumo that led to the arrest of John Ikechukwu. So he ran away from Bayelsa when his cohorts were rounded up. They ran to Kudu. From Kudu, he went to Abuja. So he was picked from Abuja. They gave him shares of the money. What he claims is that he only showed them the house of but The other people are saying, the other criminals are saying, no, you brought the job. So it's, whatever it is, he is a member of that gang. So it's a very clear case of kidnapping. You see a video which himself circulated where he was showing dollars. In this last one, he was giving $10,000.
It was what? Giving $10,000.
Yes. So
he was saying hustle.
Okay.
So that's the situation.
Okay, let me get a few more questions for you. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So a lot of us saw, you know, the where they had come to arrest him and were looking at them being paraded. But what happens next? Because usually that's where Nigerians always feel that we don't get the full story. So what happens next? Do they go to court, or with cases like this that seem so clear-cut and so open, how does it end and how soon?
Fast.
We are working in close synergy with the Attorney General of the state. As soon as we conclude investigation, and that will be very soon, immediately we conclude investigations to ensure that they face the full route of the law. So that is the situation.
So, concerning this issue of kidnapping, sir, I'm quite concerned. The fact that these guys were able to do this through the bank. Now, what advice would you give to regular Nigerians to avoid or to become them, to avoid being victims like these other ones in this case?
I think first of all, we need, when you see something, say something. It has been said in several forums. For the last kidnap, somebody living with the victim saw the car. He took the number, but he didn't raise alarm. The car came in the morning. In the night, evening when they kidnapped the man, the same car came back. So if he has raised alarm in the morning or informed his master of the development, we may have done something proactive to forestall it. So I would say that if you see anything unusual, usual movements around the surroundings, people with unknown faces and all that, it has to be properly interrogated.
Okay.
So part of what we do is to ensure that we monitor what happens around us. That's one. Secondly, we will try as much as possible not to show things that will attract people to come and do. You know, lifestyle sometimes is good. I'm not talking about this particular case anyway. But if you live a moderate life, sometimes it's going to help. But I think most of all, the best thing to do is to ensure that you are very, very, very conscious of happenings around, so that you know when to tell the police or any other security agents of happenings around you that need to be checked out.
In this case, like what Mariah was asking, there was no way the guy could have avoided it. The information came from the bank, how much he had in his account. Somebody working at the bank must have told them, oh, he has this amount, if you kidnap him, he can pay. So how do you avoid, unless you stop saving in the bank? Because now, from this story, somebody in the bank is an accomplice.
Yes, complicit, you're right. Did you hear that, sir?
That's to correct one impression. He was a former staff of a New Generation Bank.
Yes.
They laid him off since 2003. They caught him that he was pilfering. You know, sometimes customers go home, the money bundles will not be complete. So they set CCTV and caught him that he was pilfering. So I think maybe he's doing it because of lifestyle or vendetta or whatever. He is actually no more working in the bank. So it's not that he's a bank staff, no.
Okay.
But he has knowledge of the people where they need
people in the bank
and all that. So it's their residents that he actually monitors. So that is it.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so what YK was trying to ask earlier is that, you know, for them to demand the ransom that they demanded, they were very certain as to the balance that was in the account of their victims at the time, which shows that there's assistance from within. You know, I don't know if your investigation got to that part, if you're able to find out, you know, more.
We are still investigating. However, when kidnappers take somebody, it's not in all cases that they walked the amount in the bank. They may know that the person can get money from a lot of sources or have a property to sell and so on and so forth. So most times it's not just about what you have in their account. I am sure that these bankers don't have much in their accounts. Friends, relatives raise the money for them.
All right, we hear that there's a law against parading of suspects, because we've seen police constantly parading people, and we're thinking, is it right? I mean, you expect somebody, what was that thing they saying? Look, you are innocent to proven guilty. Yes. So is it right to parade these suspects, at least until we are sure that they're actually convicted of the crime they've been accused of?
Without being belligerent, I know that there is that law. However, this particular case has generated a lot of disinformation in the social media, and there was need to clear certain aspects of it. One is a confirm. Two is just to let people know that it's not all the things in social media, right? And if we do not correct that information, a lot of people will go away with misinformation.
Okay, give us some. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes. So I would like to understand, for you, the police officers on ground constantly having to deal with arresting these people, what would you say the general trend or behavior is right now? Do you think that there are more young, educated people in this? Because there used to be a time we thought, oh, they had to be headsmen from somewhere. But are they young people, part of us, educated, you know, going to work on one side and then kidnapping on the other side, having families on one side? What group or what's the demographic of these people that do this act?
Well, for this particular one, they are not graduates. This man, Ewa, was a cleaner in the bank. So I wouldn't say that he has a very high educational qualification to become a cleaner in the bank. And the other partners or his other gang members, just local people like every other local person. But a couple of them are married. Himself is married. Emmanuel Ayase is married. So they have families, but they engage in crime.
Interesting.
But generally, you know, the crime of kidnapping in Bayelsa particularly is being done by miscreants, local miscreants. They are not educated, they have not gotten anyone educated. But that is not to say that it's not possible. But so far, so good. We've not gotten somebody who.
Thank you so much, sir. We just wanted to hear from you directly. I guess I was going to add a bit to that question from Mariam, saying that, do you think there are links to, these are people that are used, these are the ones we catch, but is there like a cabal that really sends out these guys out to go and kidnap? But those are questions for another day, because we have to wrap up. Thank you so much, Commissioner, for joining us this morning to give us. Is there any other final update you want to give us on this case so that we know?
Well, it's just to assure you that we do the needful. There will be early conclusion of the investigations so that they are quickly, expeditiously taken to the court for judges.
All right. That's all. Thank you so much, sir. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to others. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close-Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria. on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's Your View. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. So many of you know we actually reside in Ikosi Sherry, and we're minding our business, and we're seeing billboards left, right, and center. They're doing carnival, they're doing something. What is going on? So we had to invite the mayoress herself, Princess Samiat Abolanle Bada, the mayoress of Ikosi Sherry local government LCA, to come and explain to us what is going on in this our neighborhood. But they say you're doing carnival. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. And you look like you're very carnival ready right now.
Yes, because I'm already in the mood.
What's going on?
I must be sincere to you. You know, we have different kind of ethnics in our community. And, you know, working and make Jack a double at times. And I just felt we should come around, we should come together. Despite insecurity in the country and a lot of things, religion, this and that in the country. But in Ikosi Sherry, we are very special. We speak in one voice, and we, you know, there's this something that, you know, make us to come together every time. Yeah. We did it last year, that we, you know, we campaign, preach to our people that we must speak in one voice, no matter what, if truly you're a resident of Ikosi Sherry. And this time around, we felt election is coming around, and we wouldn't want anyone, you know, to hide under election and says, I'm going to do my own in a different way. And we just felt, as an Ikosi Sherrians, we must come around together, fully together.
Ikosi Sherrian, please go ahead, talk.
So I love the fact that this captures, you know, all ethnics, like you said, all other tribes, and Lagos is cosmopolitan anyway, and we know that there are different tribes around. But the idea, is it for just that inclusiveness, you know, how exactly are you bringing them on? Are they also members of staff within the civil service?
Thank you very much. There's another thing I thought of. You know, we are blacks. We should be able to be proud of our culture.
Yes.
A lot of things have been forgotten.
Yes.
A lot of our traditional stuff, you know, the Oyibos, they have come to they've taken away all our gods that our forefathers normally use as a power. Yeah. And if you ask me today, how can you remind ourselves of those things? How can you come together and tell the white people that we are black and we are proud of our color? So these are the brain behind it, and we thought that is why we named, it's Rethink all worldwide of the tourism. But we in Ecosystem rethink that our culture, not our religion. That is, we have I'm a practicing Muslim, but yet that does not make me to forget my culture. We must bring back that culture. We must make sure we remind our people of whom we are and where we are coming from and what we are. And who are the people to ginger us. As a grassroots person, I must be able, to exhibit those things and their qualities. And as a woman, even in position, my home must be different. I must make sure the woman,
stand out.
Does it all.
I love it. I love it because this table we're always pushing for making sure that we don't forget our roots and we should be proud of our culture. Can you tell us what exactly will we be seeing and enjoying on that day?
On that particular day, there's going to be a road parade on Friday, this coming Friday, from 10 o'clock to CMD, from local government to CMD. And it's going to be, different kind of troops. Different people will wear different attire. People from Ekiti, from Igbo, from Benue, the Awusas, they will come in their different outfits. So at the traditional foot. And we'll do that parade from there too. Then Governor Sowolu will now come by 1 p.m. And a lot of musicians like King Soniade, Pasuma, Obesere, and King
many more. It's called Peace Unity.
Bella, Q-Dot, and Shino Peter, and OT, and many upcoming artists. They will be coming. We did it last year, and I really worked for them. And that is why we'll have seen during the SRs, outside there was no problem with our people in Ecosystem, because our people, we are together and we speak in one voice.
Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you give us, because this is part of what they're going to be wearing, can you tell us what kind of other costumes
are we going to
see that will...
like me, the other one I did that they used for I'm a Yoruba. I didn't dress like a Yoruba lady. I just want to let people know, yes, I'm part and parcel of Calabar. There's another attire I wore on that my post. So Calabar, then different kind. On that particular day, I might not put on this, but you see some people that will be putting on. This is what I did last year. So, and I
Let's
feel
talk a bit about politics a bit. So, how are you doing your grassroots politicking, the women? How are you bringing the youths together? How are you? How has it been? We spoke to you, I think, last year when you became mayoress. It's been 1 year. Give us just a sneak peek of what you've done so far in the last 1 year.
Thank you very, very much. And I'm a woman and I'm a mother. And I have this large heart that I must be able to accommodate everyone because I want to. And the youth aspect of it is we have made them know to realize that you wake up from that, sleep. That look, as a youth, you still have a lot to do. You are the leaders of tomorrow. Don't think about that tomorrow. Tomorrow will never come. But today, you must be part and parcel of what we are doing. And not a constituting nuisance. Don't allow people to use you during the election. A lot of people will tell you, because you're a youth, you should go. Come and put this, come and do that. When anyone, of course, call you, ask them, where is your firstborn? So that the firstborn will follow us and do the rubbish stuff there. And these are the things that have made them know. And a lot of empowerment, training, we do a lot of talk. Some people might not know the kind of person they are. That's a training I did. I said, who are you? How can you define whom you are? So by the time they don't even know whom they are, where they are coming from, where they are, what do you think you can do with people? Like this is what we are doing, Carnival. There's another conference, this thing we did. We just told the youth that, look, you can do a lot in this because tourism is like, when you are moving from one place to another, that you want to learn what they're doing there, and a lot of investors are coming. You could come, as sales and showcase what you are doing and you meet a lot of people that you have not met before.
Right.
By the time you interact with them, you would definitely.
Let me just throw in one last question so we can run off.
A lot of our young people, they are jackbuying. What advice would you give them to stop them from jackbuying?
My advice to them is we will still not even stop, talking to them this way. There's no way you could force them. There's no way. But we will continue to train them. We will continue to advise them. And with all this one we are doing, I think there's really changes even in our community.
Okay, I think that's all we can take. Thank you so much. We wish you the best. So what day is the carnival? What time should we show up? What time is it starting? What time is it ending?
Would there be Amala?
Yes, there will.
What day is it, ma?
On the 30th of this month.
Okay.
That is Friday. There's going to be parade from the local government to the CMD, and exactly 1 p.m. we can start the program. Where His Excellency and other dignitaries.
Where at the CMD park?
The CMD.
That big park over there.
That big park.
Oh, fantastic. So security,
the security aspect of it, we are peaceful here. There's food,
everything.
Is it free?
Amala free, no.
No, the entrance.
The entrance is free.
Okay.
But there's a raffle draw that you will buy a ticket of 200,000. You might win generator. You might win cooler.
200,000 naira.
200 naira.
200 naira.
200 naira ticket.
Oh, you said 200,000.
Okay, 200 naira.
200 naira.
You might win. You might win anything.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. We had to bring you on the show because you're our landlord.
Yes.
You cannot be doing something and we don't support you. So we have supported you like this now to tell everybody in Nicosichere, come out on Friday and support the carnival.
Entrance is free.
The entrance is free.
Entrance is free. You will hot Amala. You meet all these musicians.
My mother-in-law is from Ekiti. You're not in jail.
Everything. Just gone.
Not Pondo.
Panduke. So women are there to pound for you.
Thank you.
Hey,
that's all. I'm not passing that day. That's all we can say. Thank you so much, madam, for coming. It was a pleasure having you on the show. We're still going to bring you back to discuss work. The road, cleanliness, all those things. All those
we have done
what you've done, we're going to come and the real work. We'll still call you back to come and give us an update on what you've done so far in the last 1 year. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other segments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review,
and more conversations on the hot topics, the ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go...
Thanks for staying with us. So last week, the Bauchi State Commissioner for Education, Mr. Aliyu Tilde, said that the government has concluded plans in separating male and female students in secondary schools. And why did he do this? He said, he explained that the idea was to address the moral decadence which had become prevalent among students in secondary school. Now, the update on that story is that the boys of the secondary school came out yesterday to protest, demanding that they should have been carried along with this decision. And this is a cause for concern because many parents are also worried about the moral decadence in our schools. And but what other critics are saying, is this the way? Do you throw the baby away with the bathwater? Are there better ways of addressing these issues? Because these children, they have to have this co-curriculum, they have to have the co-education together. The idea is to have them to learn social skills by interacting both with male and female. So if you divide them, is that the right thing to do? That's our conversation today. You can join us, call us on 081-270-53687. 091-390-7694. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. What are your thoughts on this? There's two sides of the argument. So the commissioner is saying there's so much moral decadence in our society. These boys are sleeping with girls and they're having all sort of things in schools, and it's becoming unacceptable, in that state. Others are saying that if your children are well trained, we've had schools where boys and girls went to school together and they didn't have that problem. So there are ways of going around this. What are your thoughts on the decision of the Commissioner for Education? Let me start with you, Mariam.
Okay, so I took the story yesterday and I think his fears are valid. First of all, also we need to, for context, Bauchi State is in the north, and we understand how conservative, culturally and religiously they can be. I'm not saying everyone is Muslim, but culturally, it's quite conservative. So there are some things also that is important important to them, you know, how a girl carries herself up until she's ready for marriage. But he also mentions that it's worrisome because they're at an age where they're experimenting. So he understands that that's the time. But he also says, so apart from that, they're also getting married quite early. So all the gains that they have, that they say they have acquired in encouraging children to go to school, encouraging girls to go to school, you know, their boys to go to school, the out-of-school children percentage is dropping. For them, parents will get scared and say, okay, if I send my child to school and the child ends up just misbehaving, still, you know, getting married so early, what then is the benefit? And to in a way to stop that, you know, is to separate them. And I feel that that's an important first step to take. I mean, I went to an all-girls school for secondary school, and I went to a university where the boys were not allowed into the girls' hostel. If boys wanted to see girls, they would, you know, call us out and you would go. So for me, I guess also growing up in the North, it does not seem unusual for me. It did not stop me from interacting with boys. We would meet in class, we'll have a conversation. You know, there are other avenues where you could meet and, you know, get to know each other. There's sports where you can still interact with each other. So, but in this case, it seemed to be much more severe. And I feel that it's severe because they have to take a quick first step, which is you would not even interact on any level. But, you know, let me just finish. But, you know, the thing is, the children have come out to protest this thing, and I feel that they are what's the word now? It's not misled. They don't understand what they're doing. But there's one thing that they said, that you should have involved them in the conversation. And I think that conversation would have happened. This is what is happening, children. And this is how you're carrying yourselves. I hope that there was education on how they would have carried themselves while interacting with each other.
I want to take the initial thoughts before we go deeper. Let me get your thoughts on this before we go deeper into all the other thoughts.
I think, for me, and I'm not a conservative person, I think it's a good step. I think it's a good step because my niece, recently, I got my brother to move her to an all-girls school because I saw what was happening in the mixed school. And you see, I'm not saying that it cannot happen in an all-girls school or in an all-boys school. There can be decadence. But the fear is that a 13-year-old might get pregnant. You know, so if the governor is looking at that, because once you get pregnant at 13, I mean,
it disrupts a lot of things.
It disrupts a lot of things. I remember my late ex-husband wanted to take my daughter to a school where it was a mixed secondary school, and it was in Togo or Benin or somewhere like that. And the boys' hostel was just across a corridor. Was the one that divided
the girls
and the boys hostel. Can you imagine? They just walk across the corridor. The girl, she was 13. She came out pregnant. She got pregnant at 13. And I was saying, you see. You want my daughter to be pregnant at 13. But normally I never agree with government.
But let's go back to the source. When you raise children, when children are properly raised and they know their boundaries, you're a boy, I'm a girl, you know, we respect each other, and they are raised in that way, they can grow up and they have the hormones burning. But because they've been raised in a way to respect and keep themselves and preserve themselves to a certain point, they're likely to listen to that. So, do you think we should go back to the foundation of this, than just say divide them? Because dividing them doesn't solve the problem, I don't think.
Okay, so I think the government is doing what is within their powers. Just as Miriam said, it would have been, you know, something that they carried every party along. So it would have been a decision that, you know, they would have had continuous parents-teachers association meetings. So parents too are aware of the problem, and where they are laxing at parenting, they would beef up or sit up at it. But for me, the protest is what made me change my mind. I didn't go to a single girls, for my primary school, a single girls school, Catholic school. But for my secondary school was mixed, and university was mixed. I was raised here in Lagos, and I mixed with every kind of gender that, you know, I could possibly imagine.
There are only two types of gender.
No. I'm telling you, when it comes to sex and all of that, we saw all the extremes in secondary school, sadly. In secondary school where I went. And it was a decision formed from our backgrounds at home that made us do differently.
Yes.
So I believe that parenting is the way to go. But then maybe government should start looking at the kids that they're talking about. We are no longer in 1991, 93 when I was in JS1. We are looking at kids who are constantly have quick links on social media, on their phones, their smartphones now. Before your parents' mind ever gets 10 steps, the child's own has gone 1,000 steps ahead. These kids see a lot of things that, even if they were not in mixed schools, they will do what they want to do. In those days when we had single-sex schools, some girls would find their way to an all-boys school over the weekend.
Exactly.
Boys too will find their way and tell girls to meet them up. So a child who is determined to do bad will do bad. But what I cannot understand is that students who should be focused on their education right now are protesting a government decision. I just cannot understand that one.
That is where
whoever cooks that idea into their head and push them on the road.
Let me take this call from Chris.
Carry me along. Carry you
where exactly?
No. Let's take Chris. Good morning, Chris from Abuja. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. And I must say the government are not really doing so much on this issue. So let's ask two questions. Now, have we looked at lesbianism? Have we also looked at the other one of gay or whatever with the boys? That is true. Then another one, if you are separating these kids, you separate them, at the end of the day, they get into the university. Are you going to still separate them? Seriously, let's be factual. I grew up in Lagos, and all these separating people, separating students doesn't really make sense. It won't stop ridiculous. It won't stop it at all.
Exactly.
So let's just be very factual with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to come to you, Mara, because yes, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when they say it won't stop them, yes, they may still, but at least you have put in a barrier.
Good. So
that's what I'm taking a measure.
Yes,
you have done something.
Yeah,
really, but but whether that thing will be effective is another matter entirely.
Okay, and the way it was reported as of yesterday, it seemed to be widespread. So there's a difference between children will always find themselves, if even in all-girls school, these things happen, but it's one-off. But when it's widespread, and I think an immediate action needs to be taken, like this one has been taken, but then it is not the answer, as you say. People will still find a way, and that is where the government has, and that's why I agree that government should have involved all stakeholders, even the students. You start talking to them, sexual education. That's what I mean by involving them. Not saying we're asking your permission or this. No. But we're having a conversation. This is what you're doing. You are at a certain age. This is what is happening to your bodies. But if you do this, this is where you end up. It will affect your future, affect your education. Those are the sort of conversations so that the children are aware. Whether we like it or not, many children, especially in the north, there's an age you just feel that, especially for girls, I'm about to get married. I want to be married, So I always feel that there's a way we raise girl children, like I want to meet a man and fall in love and be married. So if you're not giving them the other benefits of the reason why you have to wait to finish your education, they meet a guy, they like him, please, can we go on,
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter that happened in Bauchi. And there was a part of this that Maya mentioned earlier, which I thought was important. The fact that we're talking about Bauchi, it's a fairly conservative community, and it's a majority Muslims. Now, when you consider that, and you think of the liberty given to a young man, because you got somebody pregnant, bring her as wife, you can have a few of those, and the fact that a little girl from the age of 12, 13 is already thinking marriage, because many of them, either some big man comes and picks a child up, So these are things that they hear that happens that is fairly normalized in this community. So when a teenager is having this, I'm trying to choose my words correctly, use this hormonal hype going around within in the secondary school, and you. The first thing you think of is just separating them. For me, is that really the solution, or we're just still just packaging it with something? Because the real source, there are bigger issues here. There's the liberty a young man feels that, listen, I can have you, and nothing's going to happen. If you get pregnant, oh well, join the queue.
So just as I said earlier, it's still just a measure that the state governments are looking within their own means to do. But we talked about a parent meeting, a teachers association meeting, where there's constant reorientation. So the schools themselves, government can then compel the schools to have a counseling and I remember that in secondary school we had a counseling and guidance department, and they would never. They didn't counsel. I didn't get to be counseled one-on-one. But they would come out every time. They'll bring these NGOs to come and counsel the girls on how important our bodies were. I loved the fact that those counseling even started in primary school. I remember that in primary school we taught about our bodies and how important it was to be away from the other gender. So it is.
I'm almost certain they do that in these schools. The
government will not have to react like this. I don't think there's any effect of that if it happens.
But I agree that it should start from the parents, it's not the school. It's the parents have to start counseling. Look, I remember when I was very young, when they were showing a program on drugs, my mother would call all of us and make us watch it. What happens to you when you take drugs? So of course, when you see people like that, you will be afraid. Because they are showing you the result
Results.
of this. So
Yeah.
parents too play a large and important role in, you know,
Yes.
the
Let's
children.
give you comments on social media so we
Yeah,
can
let
wrap
me-
up with this. Yeah.
I have this.
Dolani Roberts says-
Sorry. Okay.
You want to go?
Yeah. Don Anthony says, I sat with these people in my secondary school who was sexually attracted to his own sex. The boy didn't get no help, but the school was using him to cash out money during cultural meetings. Gladys Oyebo says, absolutely correct. Let sex education be introduced in our schools. Dada Olagoke says, if you separate them now, will you separate them in university? Same elite will send their kids abroad in mixed schools. Our so-called leaders should be productive.
Okay, Dolani Roberts says the protesters about separation of female and male block is a priority highly misplaced. This is not one of their problems. It could have been a thoughtful protest if they had protested about the quality of education they are receiving instead of what they did. Tony says, for me, the government are only pushing them to find out more to know why government put the ban. This will result in them more of those things government never wanted them doing. The result will be so bad. Nevertheless, most of them marry so early, even at 13. Olamileko said, no, to me, it's not absolute solution, but part of it. More needs to be done by parents through upbringing and government through law.
Isn't it also curious that the girls were not marching alongside them to say don't stop the ban? They were like, thank you
for separating.
Separate us.
Well, you see, as this may sound, is a very serious matter. I know we might laugh about it, but the truth is that these are young girls and young boys, and they have their whole life ahead of them. And we can't pretend that even those of us that went to secondary school, yes, they did sexual education, and with all the sexual education, there were some girls still doing some things at the back. There were some boys still. So we still
but in number.
Yeah, in number. But now it's more prevalent. It's more widespread. I get that, but I think.
But even in the same sex schools, they still get up to.
So it goes back to the foundation of these children. That's really the parenting is really the real solution to this problem. But either way, the government has done what they can do to help, but the real solution to that problem is parenting, and hopefully the parents get the feedback and do the needful when it comes to these teenagers. When we come back, we're going to take a break now. We're going to invite our guest from Lamata to know exactly what's going on in that sector. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show now is the Managing Director, CEO of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, that's LAMATA, Engineer Mrs. Abimbola Akeojo. Welcome to the show. She'll be speaking on how her agency is implementing the State Strategic Transport Master Plan, which has 6 rail lines, 1 monorail, 14 BRT corridors, and over 20 water routes. I can't wait to have this conversation because we hear blue line, red line, yellow line, pink line. We don't even know what it means.
There's no pink.
I know, I'm just saying.
You're saying being facetious.
So we need a clarity on that. And then I'll come to the waterways because I'm really, really particular about the waterways. But let us start with what is all these lines and where are they starting and ending?
How many are they? First?
And when is this going to start, Seth?
And where are the colors?
Okay, so thank you very much for having me, and I am always glad to come and talk about the rail lines because it's something that Amata is very, 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 very proud to be doing. The Lagos State government is pushing that we have railway in Lagos. And we must also note that Lagos will be the only subnational that would have built a rail line anywhere because it is usually in the purview of a country's bucket of things to do. So what do we have? Right now we're building the blue and we're building the red. So the blue line, you asked where they're starting and where they're ending. Yeah. So the blue line, for instance, starts from Okokomaiko and it goes all the way to Marina. If you know that corridor, you can think about the traffic that sits there on a regular basis. So when we are able to transport people en mass transportation, we will ease transportation or traffic in that area.
When is it starting, sorry?
So we will complete all infrastructure by the end of this year. We will begin testing and commissioning from January. So by the first quarter of 2023, we will have passenger operations.
Oh, fantastic. So we've done blue. Next one.
So we're also doing red at the moment.
Red, okay.
And red is going from Agbado all the way to Marina. That's the full length of it. So let me go back to the blue line. In building any rail system, you would start them and do them in phases. So when we say that the blue line goes from Okokomaiko all the way to Marina, the first phase is only what we're building at the moment, and that first phase is from mile 2 to Marina, which is about half of what it is, of what the full length will be. So we will be doing the commissioning of the mile 2 to Marina. And that's what the blue line is, just to clear the air so that we don't...
So Okokomaiko will start sometime later?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. So
Okokomaiko will start after we have completed the blue, we have tested, we have started to operate the first phase of it. Now, this is a normal thing. Nowhere in the world would you build a 27-kilometer railway in one go. Usually you would do it in phases. And in fairness, Lamata has been saying this till we're blue in the face, that we're building it in phases. Everything that we say, we have never claimed that we're building from Okokomaiko to Marina. We have always claimed that we're building from mile 2 to Marina.
For now. Okay.
Now, going to the red line is the same. So the red line is a 37-kilometer rail that goes from Agbado all the way to Marina. Oh, yet again, we're doing the first phase of it. And that would be from Agbado all the way to Oyingbo.
Okay.
That is the first phase, and that's what we're building now. Now, what we're doing is, the governor, when he came in, looked at it, and the government has been looking at the red line. In fairness, red line is probably one of the most lucrative lines in terms of ridership. When you look at that corridor, that is the one that probably has the highest demand.
So is that why it's a red line? Because it has a lot of commuters, or...
I wish I could agree with you, but no. We just chose random random colors. So the thing for it is that in starting, one of the things, when you say Lamata, we are the metropolitan area. We are planning transportation for the metropolitan area. And one thing Lagos is doing now is that we're recognizing the suburbia of Lagos. And that extends into Ogun State. So some would say Agbado actually is in Ogun State. But we know that a lot of people come from there into Lagos. And that's why this line has gone all the way into Agbado.
So Agbado to Oyingbo will definitely start from first quarter next year. Others will then come in as we go.
Yes.
Okay, so when they now arrive, sorry Nima. So I take that train. When I get to Marina, what happens? Is there a BRT waiting for me? Do I have to take a bike? What's the next step?
Okay, so one of the things that exists in our master plan, we have what we call interchanges. Marina is actually an interchange. And it's an interchange that has every mode of transportation that Lagos is able to deploy in it. So there's water transportation, there's road, and there's rail. Within the road, I have the BRT, like you say. There's a BRT terminal at Marina. There's standard route buses, and then there's first and last mile buses. So there's every other mode that you can utilize. In fact, we're also encouraging and we're implementing some non-motorized transport within Marina. So we're encouraging walking. We're also encoring cycling.
Like a Paddington kind of station that connects everywhere.
Yeah, Paddington, Victoria.
That connects everybody.
So you can come in there and you will be able to connect other modes of transportation. And when the red line gets to Marina, you will also be able to change onto the red line. So a lot of our rail systems...
When the red line gets to Marina...
When the blue line?
No, when the red line gets to Marina,
you have to change to what?
To the blue line.
The blue line.
The blue line.
Yes.
Now, it goes back and forth? They go back and forth, not just one way.
Oh yes, they go back.
And do they stop? Do they have stops?
So we have stations, obviously. So we have for the blue line, we have in total 11 stations. But the ones we're building now is from mile 2. So we have mile 2. I have Alaba, we have Igomo, we have National Theatre, and we have Marina. So those 5 stations will be available.
Okay. And each stop, I can change over to other places.
You can get down out of mile 2 and go to Igomo, for instance, and decide that you are taking a bus.
Okay, so for the blue line, which is under my own area, I have noticed that, the deadline has continuously been shifted. And now that you're mentioning that the mile 2 to Marina, which is the one we can see, I still passed there yesterday, is the one we can see is what has been completed. And that's what you're looking to start early next year.
That's correct.
How has funding have affected this project? It's been almost how many years now? 10 years. So how has funding continued to affect this project, and how do you hope to get more funding so that we're sure of completion?
Okay, let's talk about the good part, which is funding for completion. It exists already. It's already been done, and we have paid the contractor.
Okay.
So the completion is not in doubt.
Okay.
And that's the good part. Now, when you talk about things that have, sort of shifting goalposts, it goes back to what I said earlier, that Lagos is the only subnational that is building a rail. And I remember when the World Bank came to us, they kept looking, how do you want to build a rail system off your balance sheet? Nobody does it. But Lagos governments have always been audacious. When you look at what Lagos says, when you look at the population and what happens here, the only thing you can do is think about rail.
Yeah.
And in that sense, previous governments have been using their monies to sort of try and complete. But what this governor has done is to apply for the DCRR funding, which is funding for infrastructure with the banks. And they have been very responsive, and they have given us the funds. And that's how come we can say we will complete. And one thing I must say is that this DCRR funding is available to all. CBN have come to the site a number of times. They've been very impressed with what we have done. And there's nothing to hide. Everything is very visible. And CBN and the banks, they audit and they look at what we're doing.
Let me just make sure I heard what you said. So it's available to all states. So if you...
Well, it's available. It's not, I'm not a financier.
I'm just saying that it's available. So just watch the governor. You have to apply for
just as a follow-up on the same blue line. So construction is going on the roads, by the Badagry Express roads, and then you see that they're done. Then Lamata project just sort of starts in the middle of the completion when we're about to celebrate the free roads. They start to do. I'm talking about the mile 2 because when they started to build the station, the landing one and the BRT section of it, I was like, why didn't they work in tandem in synergy with this so that at once this works. And so people are also wondering now that if that Mile 2 rail starts, or they eventually do the Mile 2 to Okoko end, the roads will be taken over again, and it will become a mad space for the tankers and all the different businesses that that place accommodates.
Okay, so if you look at the blue line, you will notice that it is in the middle of the carriageway, like you described, the Lagos-Badagry Expressway. The Lagos-Badagry Expressway is also being built by the Ministry of Works, and it's a 10-lane highway. That's what part of that 10 lane says that they have dedicated the median part of it, for Lamata, to implement its rail lines. Now, from where we are standing, we're actually working in tandem with Ministry of Works. I would say that we have been working with them in tandem for over the years, and that's why they are not complete. They won't be done if we're not done, and we can't be done if they're not done. They also, I believe, will be done end of this year. Now, going forward beyond, what is now happening is that so long as they build the road and they leave us the corridor, we don't have to mess with the road. So long as the corridor for the rail is there. And the good thing about it is also that going back to Okoko, Michael, the majority of that rail will be at grade. When I say at grade, it will be on the ground. If you see what we've done from Mile 2 to Marina, when you get to Igomo, you start to rise. So all of that is elevated, but the majority going back is at grade, so it'd be easier to work with the road and without causing...
When did you say the red line will start?
Or first quarter next year. First quarter next year.
The red line, not the blue line.
As well. So we're very busy.
As well.
So the two of them are starting simultaneously?
Yes, they will.
So there's something that's always bothered me about, being in traffic in Lagos is the tankers. The containers, and I wonder if this would mean that we'll have less of them on the roads and more of them on the rails.
Okay, so if we talk about freighting, understand that we are an urban rail. The responsibility of Lamata is about
people.
Thank you. Mass movement of people. But speaking to freighting, that will be utilizing the Lagos Ibadan rail lines. That is designed for freight haulage. So that will happen on that rail. And we also are actually sharing. So when you talk about the red line, we're sharing the track that the National NRC has built, or Federal Ministry of Transport has built. And we're sharing it all the way to their station, which is Lagos Station in Ebute Metta. And then we are building our own tracks from Ebute Metta all the way to Oyingbo.
Right.
Okay. So that's...
Let me talk about the waterways, because we have very little time left. I was hearing somewhere that we'll be having bus stops on the waterways. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? So I can go from point A. Like, it's not like right now that we have really long stretches. Are we really going to have bus stops on the waterways, or just...
So let me just say, Lamata has a responsibility to plan waterways, but we don't implement. That is LASWA.
Okay.
So it's not my area of jurisdiction.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me
let me quickly come to issue of compensation and how, for this project, of course, some properties would have to go.
Yeah.
So how have Lamata handled compensation? I read sometime about one property in Yaba and how they were having issues. And then because of the Badagry Expressway, some people are still claiming they've not been compensated. Families are, are still negotiating with government. So how are you doing this?
Okay, so the Red Line project, we have compensated everybody. We have over 5,000 people have been compensated on the Red Line project. And we have done this in the space of less than 2 years, because there was just this need to complete this project. And everybody that we have displaced, Lagos State would proudly say that we're the first state that would not only pay the owners of properties, we have paid tenants to move out of tenanted property, and also paid the owners of the property. Just to facilitate, they did. Just to facilitate the movement and also the implementation process. Now, and I know that when they were doing the Blue Line, the issue they had at the time was that everybody, and it is not at the time, it is even now, even with the red, you had to demonstrate your ownership. You can't just ask for monies to be paid because everybody gets audited. We all need to be able to explain how you have done.
Mr. John.
Yes. So the majority of the people that were paid, and I remember then that there were compensations made. But the one thing everybody that wanted to claim compensation had to do was prove your ownership. So I don't know what the particular issue is, but I know that compensations were paid on the Blue.
Let's talk about BRT, 14 corridors. And do you have enough BRT buses? Because there was a time that we had these blue buses that came in from somewhere, and then I don't see them again. It's just like they disappeared, or they've not been put on the roads. What's the update on that? Do you have enough buses for this, or do we still need to look for more buses to bring into the country?
Okay, so right now we have about 1,500 buses that are running, and I'm talking high capacity buses, high capacity, medium capacity buses that are running on not just the BRT routes, but also standard routes. So we have buses on the BRT routes, but we also have buses that just run around in mixed traffic. To say we have enough buses, I would not say that. But that is where we have started from. And what government has tried to do is to say, I've put my skin in the game, let private sector come and work with us. And a number of them have come. We have companies that have come, and we're looking that come next year, we will have a number of private sector bring buses into...
Will they have to have the same color? Because I see red, I see blue, I'm thinking, which is Lagos State's own?
So where we are headed is to have regulated transportation. Or public transportation. So that means that if you're going to be regulated by Lamata, because that is what Lamata is, apart from everything else that we do implementing, we're also the regulator for public transportation. So in that regulation, there must be standardization in color. So people who would come to us and be regulated under Lamata would have to have the blue and white
Are
color.
you in charge of last ride as well?
The lag ride.
Lag ride?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's
because
another...
that is Ministry of Transportation. That is like an e-hailing system, isn't it? So
then this automated thing that they used to pay in the bus, what's it called?
The carry card.
Yeah, the carry card. I mean, because now my estate they're trying to implement. I'm thinking, are you Lamata? Are you implementing within this small estate? What's the card? I mean, how sustainable is that? Especially when people want to come in to invest in this. Do they have to have those automated things, or is there other ways, easier ways for payment?
No, the only way you would pay now is to use the carry card. Right now, as we speak, we have over 2 million carry cards out there.
Oh, really?
So it has actually gone, and people now understand it. The carry card came into play just over circa 2 years ago. Right? And it has been very effective. And the good thing about Carry Card is that it was designed and built by young techies in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
Two young lads who have worked with Lamata over time, and then they are the ones who developed it. Mr. Governor is always very proud of them.
Are you serious? So they have, so like the Oyster card, you just click it on?
You bring your card, you load it at the terminal or wherever. We're now implementing that you can actually load it at shops using USSD. There's so many ways you can load it. And when you get on the bus, you tap and it takes the value.
What are you guys feeling like?
There's a question on Twitter. So Andrew is asking that the monorail in Lagos, how is it going to work when there's no adequate electricity? And also is asking, how is there plans to extend from Marina to Lekki on the blue line or any of these lines?
Okay, so even the blue line will be electrified. So it's going to be the third
lights.
We are building our own. Yet again, Lagos is aware of what we need to do. So we're working with a...
Auntie, that's where we have to put question mark, because one train stopped Lagos in Nigeria one time like this. There was no diesel. There was no diesel. They're rolling diesel.
That's diesel now.
So we're saying that
so there's so many different ways
so
we
national grid will not affect it. Collapse of
we will have national grid and we will have our backup. 100%. We have a UPS system that says that my train will not go down for 1 second. You cannot carry people and not have a plan in place that ensures that your rolling stock will always move.
Because if it breaks down, we'll be stuck in the middle of the...
We never
on the bridge.
But I'm happy that you have a backup, which is a good thing.
So what, it will just, if the light goes, it will just
instantly. It's like a UPS system.
We have to well done. We're looking forward to the first quarter next year. I mean, I can't wait to have that red-blue line going around. Yes. Are you going to come to our side, this area, this side? But not even your plans at all.
No, you are.
This Koshofe area, you're not even...
We have a purple line.
Purple line is coming?
Yes, purple line is coming. So the green line, which is what Nimat was asking, that somebody asked on the green line goes from Marina to Lekki.
Green line.
So we're well connected. Don't worry. Lagos is well connected.
Okay, fantastic. Well done. Let's go on a break. That is all we can take on the show, YK.
Don't want to.
Agbole is Ogun State. Mr. Governor of Ogun State. That's all we can take.
Alagbado is Ogun State.
Alagbado is Ogun State.
It's Ogun State.
Why is discriminating?
Come and bring it to TVC so I don't have to be in traffic for 2 hours.
Please, talk to your governor. Don't talk to our governor. Has sorted out us. Please don't talk to your governor. That's all we can take. They said there's DSR. Making loan for infrastructure. So go to see the collect loan for infrastructure. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.